Hey everyone, my name is Lisa and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be recreating a crumb cake. So I was on Goldbelly, which is a website where you can ship pretty much any kind of food item to wherever you are in the US. Like if you were in California, you could easily get something from New Jersey on their website. And so I was just randomly looking one day because I was kind of bored. And I also like to get inspiration from those kind of websites for what to make. And I found this really good looking crumb cake and I was like, that seems interesting. Like, I've never actually had crumb cake before. I've seen it everywhere. I used to live in New York when I went to school and I would see it everywhere, but I never got to try it. So I was like, okay, let me see what all the hype is about. And I went ahead and ordered it. And then I thought of a really cool video idea, which is to recreate another person's product. So today I got Nene's Treats crumb cake. It was the best rated crumb cake on the website at the time that I was buying this. So I'm like, okay, there would be a good match to definitely try and recreate too. So I can't wait to open this with you guys and see how it is. Okay. This is what it looks like. And it comes, this is so cute. It comes with a little postcard type picture. It says you won't leave a crumb. And it's got what I believe she's the owner of Nene's Treats. I hope I'm saying that right. And this is so cute. And on the back of this card, this also has the ingredient list on it. So this is definitely, if you have any allergies or whatever, this is good so you know exactly what's in it. And this looks amazing. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I want to dig into it now, but I am going to wait until I'm done with my crumb cake recipe before I compare both of them. So let's see if I can recreate Nene's crumb cake. Let's get started with the crumb topping.
So for the crumb topping, I'm using 1 cup of light brown sugar, half a cup of granulated sugar, 1 tablespoon of ground cinnamon, half a teaspoon of salt, and then I melted 2 sticks of butter, and I had 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour on the side.
So for the crumb topping, I'm taking my sugars, cinnamon, and salt, and I'm going to slowly pour in the melted butter, and I'm going to mix it together with a fork. And once that's mixed, I'm going to add my flour. And you want to make sure you don't overmix it because it will start to develop into a paste and you want it more of a crumb, not a paste. You just want to mix it until all of the flour is completely incorporated. This is what the final crumb mixture looks like, and now we're going to move on to the cake part.
So the ingredients for the cake that I have are 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, half a teaspoon of baking powder, half a teaspoon of salt. I have in the mixing bowl 3/4 of a cup of unsalted butter softened to room temperature along with 1 cup of granulated sugar. I also have 3 large eggs with 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract in it, and I also have 1 cup of full-fat sour cream, also at room temperature.
So the first thing I did was I went ahead and preheated my oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I also greased a 9x13 glass pan that we're going to use to bake the cake. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to cream the butter and sugar together until it's super smooth. So now that's super smooth, I'm just going to go ahead and scrape the sides of the bowl down. So now I'm going to add the eggs and vanilla, and I'm also going to add the sour cream. And I'm going to mix that until smooth. And now I'm going to add in all the dry ingredients. And I'm just going to mix it on low speed and be sure not to overmix. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my cake batter into my 9x13 pan. This batter will be very thick and very sticky. It will almost look like a cookie dough batter, but don't worry, that's kind of just how the recipe is. Now I'm just going to spread it so it's an even layer. I put the crumbs all over the cake and then push it down so it sticks. And now that it's spread evenly, I'm going to go ahead and bake this at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 45 to 55 minutes. Okay, so now the cake is out of the oven. I let it cool for about 45 minutes to an hour before I sprinkled some powdered sugar on top, and then I cut it into squares. And now I get to compare both to see how well I did. So these are the two pieces of cake side by side. On the left we have my piece of crumb cake that I made, and on the right we have the Nene's Treats crumb cake. My first look, they both do look pretty similar. My cake itself is a lot more than the one that I bought. We have about the same crumb amount, which means that my cake to crumb ratio is a little bit higher than the other one. The other one's a little bit more equal. And this could just be because of the shipping. I noticed that their crumb is a little bit more kind of stuck down and flat versus mine kind of pops out more. This could also be because I didn't push it into the cake batter enough. But I still think it kind of gives more of a rustic coffee shop type feel compared to the one that I bought. And if we look at it from the side, we can see that mine is taller and it gives it more of a homemade feel versus the one that I bought. It gives it more kind of like a production feel, which granted that it is a production made. So now let's move on to how they taste. So I just tried both cakes and I can say that I am a little blown away with the Nene's crumb cake. It really does taste like grandma made it, and it just tastes good. Like, it makes you feel like you're at home and it makes you feel comfortable, and it's just a really good kind of comfort food that I would probably devour in a few minutes. And I think when I took a bite out of it, I was like in cinnamon sweet heaven. It was so good. It was so light and fluffy. I was worried with my cake because the batter was so thick that it was going to come out a bit more dense. But then I tried mine and it tastes almost the exact same as the one that I bought. So I'd say I definitely did a good job of recreating it. It tastes amazing. And I think because my cake has more cake to crumb, that it gives it a little bit more of a balance of sweetness. It's not as crazy sweet as the one that I bought, because with the one that I bought there's a bit more crumb, which has a lot more of because it has a lot more of the brown sugar and regular sugar on top. So I think with that I did a little bit better, just because it's not overly sweet, so you can probably eat the whole piece in one go, versus I think with the one that I bought, it might be better to cut smaller pieces and enjoy a smaller amount of the time, just because it is a little bit more sweet. But I definitely love that crumb cake, and the whole tray is probably going to be gone in the next 5 minutes. They definitely make some of the best cake I've ever had. Honestly, when I tried it, I'm like, this is my new favorite dessert. So I will definitely be leaving their shop link down in the description box below. I will also be leaving the recipe I used to recreate it in the description box below, so you guys can also create it at home. It's probably by far one of my favorite things that I've made so far that's not like a decorated cake, and I think I'm gonna be making this a lot in the future. And there you have it. I really enjoyed making this. I think if I have to give myself a score on how well I did, I'd probably give myself like a 7.5, 8 out of 10. I think the only things I needed to work on really was getting the cake to crumb ratio right, and also sticking the crumbs into the cake batter a little bit more, just because I've had some crumb fallout compared to the one that I bought and didn't have any. I think those were my only mistakes, but I really enjoyed it. I loved eating it for sure. And I definitely recommend either buying it or making it on your own. This is like a super fun recipe. It's not like super difficult either. It's definitely one of the easier things I've made, which makes it a lot more fun because knowing that, you know, it really doesn't take too much effort to make, which is great. It's really easy to make, and the best thing about it is it's such like a comfort food that if you ever just need to be cheered up or, you know, there's something going on, you could just make this in the pinch and it tastes amazing. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you recreate this, don't forget to tag me in it. All my social media will be in the description box down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep your eye out. I will be posting another recreating video of a New York iconic dessert. So definitely watch out for that, and I will see you guys next time.